In this module, you have learned that our three primary triads each have a specific function within their key. Chord 1 provides a sense of rest or stability, chord 4 provides a sense of movement, and chord 5 provides a sense of tension. Each of these primary chords has a secondary substitute chord. These secondary chords have the same function as the primary triads, but provide us with a different shade or color to paint our music with. Let's have a look at our primary chords and add in the secondary substitutes that belong to each one. Please follow along in your workbook and fill in these chords on page 76. The notes in chord 1 in C major are C, E, and G, with my root note doubled as this is a primary chord. The secondary substitute for the tonic chord is chord 6. The notes in this chord are A, C, and E. This is a secondary chord, so I will double the third, which in this case is a C. As you can see, we have several notes in common here. We have C's, E's, and doubled C's in both chords. The only differing note is this A. If we place chord 6 in first inversion, we can keep these common notes in the same voice part, with C's in the bass and soprano voices, and E's in the alto voice. If we place the A in the tenor voice, you will see that these chords are almost identical, with just one note a tone higher in the tenor voice. Because of this, we can say that both of these chords have tonic function. If we look at chord 4, we will see the notes F, A, and C, with the note F doubled. The secondary substitute for the subdominant chord is chord 2. The notes in this chord are D, F, and A. Again, this is a secondary chord, so I will double the third, which in this case is F. Again, we can see several similarities between the two chords, with both containing F's, A's, and the double F's. The only differing note is this D. If we place this chord in second inversion, we can keep all of these common notes in the same voice parts. We can then place D just one tone higher than the C in the soprano voice. As with our tonic function chords, these chords are almost identical, and we can say that they both have subdominant function. Our final primary triad, chord 5, consists of the notes G, B, and D, with the root note G doubled. The substitute for this chord is our leading note chord, or chord 7. The notes in this chord are B, D, and F, with the third D doubled. Here we only have two notes in common, the B and the D. F and our double D are different. As with our secondary substitutes, we can place chord 7 in first inversion and keep our common notes in the same voice parts. The third of the chord, D, needs to be put in the bass voice, and the remaining F can be placed in the tenor voice, just one tone away from the G in chord 5. While this pair of chords is not as similar as the two preceding pairs, we still say that both chord 5 and chord 7 have dominant function. What we have created here is a chord progression that follows a rest, movement, tension order. First, listen to the chord progression with just the primary chords. We will end on the tonic chord to provide us with a sense of closure. Now, listen to the progression with the added secondary substitutes. These chords let us extend our progression and add some interesting minor and diminished moments to our music. As you can see, we have used nearly every chord based on a note of the C major scale here. Chord 1, chord 2, chord 4, chord 5, chord 6, and chord 7. The only chord we haven't used is chord 3. Let's have a look at this chord and see why it doesn't fit into this system. If we look at chord 3 in relation to chord 1, we can see that it has two notes in common, with just a semitone between the B and the C. This means that chord 3 could sound like it has tonic function. If, however, we look at chord 3 in relation to chord 5, we can see that it also has two notes in common and just a tone between the remaining E and D. This means that chord 3 can sound like it has dominant function. Chord 3 can be used very effectively in chord progressions, but it is essential to think about the context it is used in. It can, at times, sound very stable and at other times create a sense of great tension. It's important to use your ear to guide you when using this chord to make sure that it's fulfilling the intended function within your music.